I will adjust this a little to the center so you can all see me. Before I share who I am right now, number one, I'd like to give an applause to Dr. Havlicek and his presentation. I enjoy the fact that you made a correlation between the painting and also music. Can we? Oh, I can use this one right here. Bear with me for a second. Do you use a wrench to tighten this thing, bud? Wow. Don't let this fool you. Before I do this, I'd like to just give you a short snippet of who I am. As I said earlier, I'm a man of service. I spent 37 years in service, 37 and a half years. Did 21 and a half years with the Marine Corps. And had the privilege of training a lot of young men. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them that are not around anymore. And I grieve for them. I think about them daily. Part of my healing is the fact that I have them in my memory and I can celebrate the good times that we had together. I made the choices that I made because I think I'm a little bit of a daredevil. And even though I look like this, you realize that I couldn't even adjust the mic. I try to work out and stay in shape, but sometimes things are a little difficult. But anyhow, based on the choices that I've made, I've been exposed to a lot of violence and a lot of death. And one of the things that I use, the main thing that I use to kind of clean my soul and to clear my mind and to refocus and rebalance has been music. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a musical family where my mom is a phenomenal vocalist and my dad was a trumpet player, a jazz and Latin trumpet player. I grew up in the Republic of Panama, so I was exposed to Latin music, I was exposed to jazz, I was exposed to R&B and all the music that was here in the US. So I was very fortunate in that point. There's several of my comrades that are not quite as fortunate or were not quite as fortunate and didn't find a way to have a positive outlet as in painting or playing some type of musical instrument, and then in return they chose alcohol or drugs and ruined their lives. And I tried my very best growing up in that environment and being part of the Marine Corps and then 16 years in the police department, trying to educate a lot of young men that were under my supervision. And one of the things that I came to realize that helped a lot is the fact that early on in life, I realized that some of the stuff that was preached to me by the elder men as a young boy, when I'll fall or get hurt and decide that I needed to cry, a lot of the men in my life would say, you know, hey, men don't cry. And it was kind of a Marine Corps thing also, where most people would think, you know, men do not cry. Well, early on in my life, I realized that that is such a crock. And I opened up. I learned to open my soul. I learned to open my mind. And I gave myself permission to cry. And I did that for my young Marines. And I did that for a lot of the police officers I worked with as we would sit and talk. And I say, hey, give yourself permission to cry. Emote. Let your emotions out. If you're not painting, if you're not singing, if you're not involved in something that allows you to emote, simply cry. Let it out. Open your heart and be genuine. Because we're in a profession where we knew that violence could come at any time and experience a lot of death, and it's not healthy for the mind. In the last 2 years, I've lost at least 3 police officers that I worked with that took their own lives. And it's a reality. And the Marine Corps was kind of the same thing. I lost a lot of friends to suicide. So open up your hearts to your friends and let them know, hey, celebrate life, smile, laugh as much as you can. Okay. To share with you, I want to do this song that I did to help people open their hearts, and it's one of those songs that I cherish and I sing at times for myself to kind of refocus on life. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fears and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time we must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? We'll find that life is still worthwhile if we'll just smile. Share a smile with me, please. That song was written by Charlie Chaplin, believe it or not. Yes, yes. Bit of trivia. Last song I'll do for you is a song that was written by Sting. And it's one that touches my heart every time I sing it. I perform it in memory of all my friends that I've lost to violence. If blood would flow when flesh and steel are one, drying in the color of the evening sun, tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away. But something in our minds would always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime argument that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall like tears from the stars, like tears from the stars. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Thank you.